You can sit. Oh, you're first?
Boss.
Mike. You ready? So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley with the City of Philadelphia's Office of Children and Families. I'm joined today by Mayor Kenney, Council President Clark, and our new Superintendent for the Philadelphia School District, Superintendent Watlington, along with other school district and Office of Children and Family leadership and staff. I am very excited that today we're announcing 3 new community schools. Community schools are a partnership between the City of Philadelphia, the School District of Philadelphia, and the communities, and the school communities, to remove barriers to learning and to try and support the success of each student. Just a couple of weeks ago in this very room, we celebrated 34 community school champions, which consisted of parents, students, teachers, and other supporters who went above and beyond call of duty for their community and for their schools. During that event, I was reminded about why community schools are so special. They strengthen connections, and they, most importantly, bring critical support to the schools and the neighborhoods, and hopefully enhance the educational experience and stabilize families and enhance the educational experience so that our children can get the most out of their time in the schools. I'm beyond thrilled that we will grow this connection and support with these 3 new community schools. To tell us a little more, here's our Mayor, Jim Kenney.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor, and I'm humbled and honored to announce that we are adding 3 new community schools. This will bring the total community schools from 17 to 20. Funding for community schools was a hallmark of our first budget as mayor and administration, and funded by the Philadelphia Beverage Tax, which was approved by council 6 years ago this month. When then launched the first cohort of 9 community schools in 2017. The goal then and now is to meet the needs of the whole child and provide support to both students and families, as well as resources to the community. Over the years, we grew to 17 schools, and starting today, we will have 20. Along the way, we have also expanded the support system found at each community school. Now, each community school has case management and attendance supports, as well as out-of-school time programming. So I'm so excited that 3 new community schools are coming online. I'm about to announce we'll receive full-time coordinator to ensure that students and families have access to all of these resources. It is also important to note that among this year's cohort of new schools is a high school where the support will include connections to career pathways. And now, without further ado, I'm proud to announce our 3 new community schools. They are Anderson Elementary School, Frankfurt High School, and Paul L. Dunbar School in North Philly. I want to thank the principals of these 3 schools, Lorena Zeller from Anderson, Dr. Michael Calderson from Frankfurt High, and Daniel Mina from the Paul Dunbar School. They recognize the value of community schools and are committed to working with our team to serve the whole student family and the neighborhood. So to all principals, staff, faculty, and most importantly, students at these schools, congratulations on joining the family of Philadelphia Community Schools, and I'll throw it back to Vanessa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can we give these schools a round of applause again? We are excited, and you may hear a little bit later, but this is a process. It's not easy to be selected as a school, and you also have to have the desire, and we will hear a little later from the principals of these schools, which ultimately make the difference in terms of whether or not they want to be a community school. I also want to give a special shout out to our Office of Children and Families, the team who oversees community schools and makes that vision a reality. Waleska Maldonado, who's the Chief of Prevention Services, and Maxwell Akumo Boateng, Director of Community Schools for the Office of Children and Families. We thank them for their tireless efforts, and all of your staff and coordinators on behalf of our schools who do this work. And now I invite Council President Clark to the podium. He has been a champion for community schools since day one, and we're thrilled he could join us today. He has not missed one of these announcements on community schools, and we knew he wouldn't start now. Council President Clark.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a good day. We need more of these. Mayor, it seemed like it was like yesterday we were in Cincinnati. You remember that? And it had a little small airport. No shot at Cincinnati, but you know, I'm just saying, right? But yeah, right. Remember that? And we had to get up like wow, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, we went to Cincinnati because we had heard about this notion of community schools, and it made all the sense in the world. When we went to that school, we saw how that was the focal point of the neighborhood. It was the focal point of every community within the city of Cincinnati. And you got to thinking about the city of Philadelphia, is that, you know, we don't have Vet Stadium in every neighborhood. We may not have various other things in every neighborhood, but you have a school in every neighborhood in the city of Philadelphia. So therefore, having a community school where the focal point can be not only in the children, but the adults, all of the other activity. I can recall Gideon in my councilmatic district. Every time I turn around, they're having like some function going on, right? From giving away turkeys to getting vaccines. I mean, it's just always activity, and people really appreciate it. So that's why I want to thank the mayor and his team, all the folks, and obviously the principals and all the people involved in this community school effort for their willingness and their efforts as it relates to bringing these things to fruition. It is awesome. One of these days, we want to have every neighborhood. What are we doing, 50, 60, 100, right? Whatever, you know. We'll figure out a way. We may not be, but it's going to happen, right? But in all seriousness, I just want to thank everybody. And Dr. Watlington, congratulations, sir. Welcome to the city of Philadelphia on a positive note today, because Lord knows at some point you'll get, a little bit of challenges, but we're up to it, and we're going to be supportive of you 1,000%. And Vanessa, thank you for guiding us towards this very, very positive day. So guys, congratulations to all the schools. Thank you all so much for the great work you do, and we look forward to doing some additional schools throughout the city of Philadelphia. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Next, we'll have our new superintendent, Dr. Watlington. We are so glad that you're here and looking forward to working with you. Join me in giving him a welcome to Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, Mayor Kenney, Council President Clark, and everyone, good afternoon. I'm very excited to be here today. Having served as a principal 3 times, I would have loved to have had the opportunity to be selected as a community school. So very happy for all the people here today. I want to thank you, Deputy Mayor Garrett Hartley, for that kind introduction. We'll certainly work hard to be deserving of it. I'd also like to thank you for your work and support for our students and families through the Community Schools program, helping to further support our school climates, families, and community engagement, as well as integrating health and social services and expanding learning time and additional out-of-school opportunities. All of these initiatives help make the difference for our young people who are why we're here today. I'd also like to extend a very special thank you to you, Mayor Kenney, for choosing to invest in community schools and continuing to prioritize and expand this very, very, very important investment in our students, our families, and helping to provide equity in education. Nowhere does it better than right here. Our schools are certainly more than just brick and mortar. Our schools are more than that. They are where we learn and nurture, where learning and nurturing take place each and every day. And our schools are a vital part of their community, a vital part of the fabric of this city, bringing families and communities together and expanding opportunities for students and families alike. And so for that, I say thank you. Now, we all know that for schools to help students thrive, we need to work with our partners, to address the struggles and the challenges our students face both inside and outside of the classroom. And that's exactly why it's important to have community schools, this very important initiative. A collaborative partnership providing wraparound services and amplifying the work of our Student Services Department to extend our reach far beyond academics, far beyond the classrooms. So with that, I'll say congratulations to the to the Ed B. Anderson community, Frankfurt High School community, and the Paul L. Dunbar School community. So Principal Zoller, Principal Calderon, and Principal Mena, congratulations. Let's give them a hand. I know that you must be absolutely thrilled to have your schools now rooted in this very important work that will improve the quality of education for your school communities. I look forward to seeing the impact from these services and supports and continuing to work together to close educational gaps, educational and equity gaps. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Superintendent. Now I'm happy to welcome the school leaders of our new community schools. These will be our new champions. Now, I'm going to say your name wrong after he just told me, y'all, but that's sometimes, not all timers. Principal Calderon from Frankfurt High School. We are particularly happy about all of our community schools, but also particularly Frankfurt High School because we wanted to have more high schools in the community schools. As you see what's going on in our city, as much as we can get to our young people, but particularly those in that age range of the high schools, extremely important. Come on up, Principal. And he's going to tell us why community schools will be so important to his school and to his community. And he will be followed by Principal Zeller from Anderson and then Principal Mena from Dunbar. Thank you.
Thank you, and you did a great job, Dr. Watlington, too, on the pronunciation. That's a first for anyone on a first time, so thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mike Calderon, the very proud principal of Frankfurt High School. I stand before you today grateful beyond words for the opportunity to join the ranks of Philadelphia's community schools. This was not our first application, so I'm really thrilled that we were successful this time. Having previously served as the principal of Harding Middle School before following my students to Frankfurt High School in 2015, I can say with 15 years of certainty that Frankfurt is truly one of the greatest neighborhoods in the city of Philadelphia. That being said, it certainly isn't without need. Gun violence affects us almost daily, either through victimization or indirectly through the trauma it so often forces upon our students and families. The safe space, community options for our children to learn, play, and grow seem to dwindle by the day, and that's why I'm so thankful for this opportunity. Since I arrived at Frankfurt High School 7 years ago, I could see the even greater potential for the school to serve as a beacon of hope and joy for the entire community. With the added resources now at our disposal, I look forward to making this vision a reality. I cannot wait to keep our building open later and throughout the summer to give our students, their families, and the community additional access to the resources that they need, not just to survive, but to thrive. Frankfurt High School has a long and storied history that dates back to 1910, but today may be one of the most important dates in Frankfurt High School's 112-year history. Today's announcement will forever change the trajectory of this amazing community and bring more equitable access to resources to a community that has gone without what they deserve from their neighborhood school for too long. Thank you sincerely to everyone that has made this possible for our students and our community. Thank you.
Mayor Kenney, Councilman Clark, Dr. Watlington, city officials, and other friends of the Office of City Youth and Families, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Lorena Zeller, and I am the proud and humbled principal of Abby Anderson School in the Cobbs Creek section of West Philadelphia. For the last 7 academic years, I have been blessed to work alongside some of the most phenomenal educators, students, families, and community members. At Anderson, we utilize the local community assets and relationships to support our varying school needs. At Abby Anderson School, we believe that it takes a village and the beauty in the development of the whole child, every single one. We apply to be a community school because we envision our school being an oasis, a one-stop hub where our students, families, and community members could have access to a multitude of resources and supports that will be beneficial. As a new community school, we would love to see consistent programming in our school that supports the whole child. Often, we see that a child's zip code provides a barrier to what opportunities our students have access to. At Anderson, we don't subscribe to that inequitable and systemic belief that your brilliance and opportunities are determined by your zip code. I know I can speak on behalf of the entire Anderson School community and share that we are excited next year to be one of the new community schools. We have lots of work to do as we continue to dismantle inequitable practices in our city. We thank the School District of Philadelphia and the City of Philadelphia for giving us the opportunity to do that work and to do what we do best, love our community wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Mena, and I'm the principal at Paul Dunbar School. Our school's biggest strength is captured in our motto, one band, one sound. Our school has a fundamental belief that it really does take a village to support our students and that everyone connected to a school needs to work together to support each other, our students, and our larger community. It is this belief that inspired our application to become a community school as an opportunity to align additional resources towards our school goals. In a lot of ways, Dunbar has been a community school for years. Our school staff have built deep relationships with families and students and leveraged the support of our larger school community through partnerships with Temple University, the Goldenberg Group, Stepping Stone Scholars, and many others to meet the needs both inside and outside of our classrooms. This work was initiated by teachers, administrators, counselors, school staff, and committed community partners who have gone above and beyond the call of duty and their job description to forge these relationships, leverage support, and ultimately provide for our students and community. Our school's acceptance as a community school represents an acknowledgement of the hard work we have engaged in to create a collaborative community environment at Dunbar and provides the resources, support, training, and network to expand and enhance that work. Dunbar's motto, one band, one sound, is becoming more true as a community school, as our band is getting bigger and our sound will become much stronger. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. We certainly can't do this journey at community schools without that school leadership and their commitment, so thank you all. We'll be getting to know you extremely well as we go on this journey together. I'm going to switch the order up just a little bit because we were going to take photos, but I understand some folks may or may not have to go. So at this point, I'm going to be joined by Maxwell Akamoa Boateng, the director of our community schools, in case anyone has any questions that we may be able to answer, and then we'll follow that just with some photos. So we ask our leadership to stay for a few minutes while we take these photos. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
Well, they're certainly getting more resources than they would be getting normally. They have a person that's concentrated specifically on resource acquisition and resource collecting. Our children seem to be responding quite well to it, and the families, certainly, their feedback is positive. Principals and teachers have been asked to do a lot of things in addition to just teaching. Many of our schools is where our kids spend the most time, where they exhibit the most difficulties when it comes to life outside the school building. And these resources being brought in, I think, are giving them satisfaction and giving their parents satisfaction and their teachers and principals satisfaction that we're all in this together. This is not just the school district over here and the city over here. It's kind of put together. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the data guy person, but either. Oh, yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so as far as the metrics that we look at, we have a whole idea of like looking at not just academics, but also just looking at the experience for kids, for their families. And so we look at the attendance data. We're looking at also just survey data from parents at the end of the school year. So there's a district-wide data that goes out. And so collecting that information, but also making sure that that data is reaching all of our families. So we're not just collecting just a few students, a few parents. We're trying to get to all of them so we can better understand the educational experience as a holistic approach.
Okay, and I would just add, as we continue to build out, we'll be building additional metrics. We do have a performance department that does our data analysis and accountability, and they're continuing to work on additional metrics that hopefully we'll be able to report out at different times, because these community schools came on board at different times, so some schools are in different places than other schools. But as we move forward, definitely mindful, I think, of what your question is how will we be able to determine whether or not it's doing what we want them to do in terms of success. I would say in the short term, certainly you can look at the fact that we are front-loading services and I believe stabilizing families. That's kind of one of those qualitative measures that's difficult to put out there, but from what we get in survey results and other things, we believe that it's definitely having the desired effect on that end. Yes, ma'am. You saw my face. Max, how many schools applied to be community
So
schools?
this round, we had 8 schools that applied.
Any of the principals? Anybody want to come on? Okay.
I'm sure my colleagues probably shared similar experience, but when we were doing this application, one of the things that I did is I sent out a survey to my staff and really gauge their interest around our strengths, what are areas of need for our school. One of the things that resonated throughout was just additional opportunities, culturally responsive opportunities for our students. Yes, we needed the social emotional resources, but STEM opportunities. We're starting a makerspace at our school next year, so how can we utilize some of the resources in our community to extend the opportunities for our students so that it's not just this opportunity gap that exists for our students, but we can give more resources and more things for students to do beyond the school day. So lots of arts programming, STEM, just opportunities to build the whole child, in addition to the social emotional resources.
Thank you so much. Did you have a question? Yes. I don't know if we have the exact number here in terms of what it's costing, but we use the beverage tax money to help support this. Revenue from the beverage tax is what helps support it.
We're required with anything we collect to put it in the general fund to begin with. It's the only repository for tax revenue. So it does not come out of the school district budget. It goes from the beverage tax to the general fund, then back out for rebuild pre-K and community schools. I'm going to get you a number, but I don't have it with me. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll say in terms of exact numbers, if you email our communications director, Mike Dunn, over there, we can get you some exact numbers in terms of the budget and stuff that we don't have here with us today. Did anybody else have a question before we move forward with these photo opportunities? I want to thank everybody for coming out today. We absolutely appreciate it. It's a wonderful day for us and for the city. Community schools can mean an awful lot to these communities, and we're looking forward as to what it can do for the communities, the neighborhoods, and the families and students who will be involved in these schools. Thank you so much. And I missed somebody. I missed recognizing, we do have a school board member with us, I'm so sorry, Cecilia Thompson. Can she stand? Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you.
First photo, we're going to go over here.